guys, welcome back to the channel. Remember last week we unboxed this gorgeous XGP body from Guitar Fetish? Well, today is the day we get to build this guitar. Let's step on over to the workbench and get started. All right guys, we're at the workbench, and now the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to install the string ferrules. Okay, now the string ferrules are vintage size because all XGP hardtail bodies come pre-drilled with the vintage size holes. Now we're going to have to tap these in. Okay, we're definitely going to have to tap these string ferrules in, so it's important that that's your first step. You don't want anything installed on the front of the guitar body, because if you're tapping down on those string ferrules and there's something installed on the other side, you could inadvertently dent the front end of your guitar body or damage something that you've already installed. And so you don't want to do that. So string ferrules are what I like to do first. Okay guys, so we're going to go ahead and install our first string ferrule. We're going to put it right in here just like that. Okay, and most of the time you can just push them in. Okay, just like so. They fit pretty snugly. You can just give it a tap if you want to. What I like to do is just take a smaller screwdriver like this and just give it a little, just to make sure that they're seated properly. All right, so let's go ahead and put the rest of them in like this. Some of them might be a little stubborn, so you'll actually, like that one, you'll actually have to tap them down. And you'll hear it when it seats. It'll be solid. Okay. And don't worry, you're not going to damage the hole. You're not hitting it that hard. Okay, and these are made of steel, so. There we go. Yeah, you want to make sure that you don't hit it too hard, because you don't want to damage the hole in the bottom of the ferrule, because if you make that a sharp edge, it could snap strings. So, but it doesn't require a lot of pressure. You could also take a towel and put it in there just to make it a little softer seat. There we go. And the last one. Yeah, if I had a suggestion for the guys over at Guitar Fetish, I'd suggest that they actually flush mount these, or drill them so that they can be flush mounted. Now you can do that yourself if you have the proper equipment to do so, but it's not that big of a deal. Okay, so our string ferrules are installed and we're off to our next step. Okay guys, so the next step is going to be to attach the bridge. Okay, and prepare to attach that. Normally what you would do is you would attach your neck, all right, and then you would measure, okay, and you would take your bridge, you would measure from the nut 25.5 inches down, okay? And what you're going to do is you would back your saddles all the way out till they almost fall off, all right? And then once they're at the end, back them in about 3 turns of the screw is what I like to do. And so then that they're all the way out. And so what you want to do then is measure from the nut, okay, all the way down, and then you move this to the point where you are at the cross member here, right here, where if you were to imagine a straight line going from the center of that screw to the center of that screw, okay, right across there, because that's where the string makes first contact, is right there. So you measure out 25.5 inches, you move your bridge right up to that 25.5 inch mark, right there. You move this right up to there, not the edge of the bridge, but the saddle, right up to the 25.5 inch mark, and then you know that you are as far back as you want to be, okay, because that gives you your 25.5 inch scale length for fender. Then it's just a matter of lining it up center, okay, with the neck, which all you have to do is just measure across, measure this way, and pick your center point. All right. Now I like to take a string when I do that. I like to put the neck on and take a string and run it from the nut straight down to the first saddle so I can see where, if it's lined up and the strings are going to sit correctly. The beauty of this with the XGP bodies is your string holes are already drilled. So to line this up, all we have to do is line up and center our string holes with the string holes on the body, and we're good to go. Then we just mark our mounting holes, drill it, and secure it. Okay? But there's one more thing we also have to do before we do that. We have to take all the saddles off so that we can make sure we're lining up the holes correctly. And we're going to have to drill a pilot hole right in here. Okay? We got to see where the bridge is going to be. But we're going to have to drill a pilot hole. There we go. And what I like to do is just mark it off with a piece of tape. But we're going to have to drill a pilot hole right under here, underneath the bridge, and come back through into the body cavity right here so that we can ground our bridge. Okay, we have to put a ground wire through there and ground the bridge. All right, very, very important thing to do. All right, so let's get to that. Okay, guys, as you can see, I've got the bridge lined up with the string holes now, perfectly centered on there. And I always use a little bit of blue painter's tape to hold it in place so that it doesn't move while I'm marking it. I'm just going to take a marker, a fine tip, and make just a small black dot right in the center of our mounting hole. Just like that. And that's going to show me exactly then where I need to place my guide holes. Okay? And so it's a 5 screw mount. Now that I've got that marked, I can go ahead and remove the tape, like so, and take the bridge off, and then I can see exactly where my guide holes are. Okay, so I'll set the bridge down here, and I'll get my drill. Okay, guys, so we have where our bridge is going to sit taped off, so we know we can drill our guide hole for our ground wire anywhere in this area. Okay, I like to do it right about here, and you want to do this by starting off with just a straight hole. Okay, going straight down, right about there. So right about that. That's all you need, just like that. And then you take and you go at an angle, like so. And then you come in at an angle and drill through to the cavity. Okay, so we got our drill hole through there. So we can go ahead and take our tape off, like that. And there we go. We've got our hole, goes right through down here. There we are. That's perfect. So our ground wire will come up through there and attach to our bridge, no problem. Another thing that we're going to do too, before we attach it, is we're going to put a little piece of copper tape right here so that we have good metal on metal contact sandwiching in the ground wire. Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead then and install our bridge. Okay, for our next step, we're going to go ahead and take our piece of copper tape and we're going to lay it in right about there. Okay, and that's going to ensure that when our ground wire comes up through and lays over here and we put our bridge on, that we have good metal to metal contact between the bridge and the body, okay, and that our ground wire is sandwiched in between that. So that's going to give us really nice ground. Now we're going to take our copper tape and we're going to align the entire cavity of the guitar body with the copper tape. What this is going to do for us is it's going to create a Faraday cage, which is going to reduce noise in our single coil pickups as much as possible and help to reduce any outside interference with those pickups. So I found the best way to do this is just to cut strips out of the copper tape like this because it's very flexible, it's very moldable, and then just peel off the copper itself. It comes off of the sheet pretty easily. And then once you have it off, okay, be very careful with it because it does have a tendency to coil like that. So you got to be careful that it doesn't stick to itself. And then just take it, okay, and just start to line the cavity with it. Just kind of get a finger in there and kind of press it in, okay, and then it'll contour pretty easily to the grooves and all the curves and everything inside the cavity. All right, so you just start pressing it in, all right, throughout the cavity like so, and you line the sides and the bottom all the way around. Now I'm not going to spend all this time for you watching me line this. I'm going to go ahead and do it and then we'll come right back to where it's completed. Okay, so as you can see, just like that, through the magic of editing, we've gone ahead and lined our entire cavity with copper tape. Now that's going to create a nice Faraday cage, keeping the noise down on the single coil pickups as much as possible. All right, so the next steps are going to be to install our ground wire and bridge. So here's our ground wire right here. And all we have to do is just bring it up through the hole like so. And there it is. Now you can see I put down a piece of copper tape like that. Okay, we just fold this over so that it's making good contact with that copper tape right there, like so. And then our bridge, it will then contact it when we go ahead and install it. Now to install it, we've got the screws right here that we need. Those are the mounting screws. We're going to go ahead and screw it in and get it installed. Now that we have our ground wire in place, we should be good to go for that. All right, now what I like to do when I'm installing a bridge is I like to put a screw on each side. That way we get good alignment and we don't have to worry about anything else. So using my magnetic tip screwdriver and the hole I previously drilled, I can go ahead and start aligning this bridge. Now I'm not going to tighten them down completely until I get it exactly aligned where I want it with the screw holes. Now, pre-drilling those holes, of course, makes it a lot easier to get the bridge in place. Okay, there we go. Just lock that down. There we are. That's got it in place. All right. And then we can get the rest of our screws in, and we're good to go with that. Okay, so now we've got our bridge installed. We're going to go ahead and get our output jack, okay, and our output jack, basically they call this a boat tail, installed into the body. We are going to have to drill 2 holes for the screws, the mounting screws. So we're going to go ahead and get our output jack put in here, like so, and then get our washer and our nut put on and tighten down. And then once we have that in place, then we can go ahead and install it. We'll feed our wires through and we'll be good to go with that. So we just feed our wires through here like that. Okay, there we go. And that's going to go in place right there. All right. So as soon as we get our holes drilled, we'll be set to screw that down. And that's one more thing we have installed. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and drill a couple of guide holes for our screws. One there. And one there. There we go. And we'll get our screw started. Okay, we'll go ahead and anchor this down in there. Just like that. Whoops. Hate it when I do that. That's why I always have a spare. There we go. Okay, our output jack is installed, our wiring is through, and now we can go ahead and get the neck installed or the pickguard. Maybe the pickguard first. Not sure yet, but we got to hook up our wires and then we're good to go. Okay, so next we're ready to hook up our ground wire and our output jack wires to our loaded pickguard, and then we'll be ready to install that. I'm going to lay a piece of cloth down here so as not to scratch our surface. And what's great about the obsidian wire harness is it's all solderless. Everything here is completely solderless. So you gotta love that. Our output jacks are gonna go right here, and then our ground wire to our ground post right there. So I'm just gonna set this down. I'm gonna feed the ground wire in here like this. Feed it through there, and then I'm just gonna put it in our little ground post right there. All right, there we go. That's in there. Now we can just take our screwdriver and tighten that down. And our ground wire is installed. Simple enough. Now we take our hot and our ground for our output jack, and that goes into posts 3 and 4, white first and then black. So in the obsidian wire harness, you just push down the lock, insert the wire, and then release the lock, and that's it. It's installed. You gotta love it. So I'll do the same thing with the black wire, the ground wire. There we go. Push in the wire. Release the lock. There it is. I think I'm going to get a better one on that though. Need a straighter piece of wire on that. Perfect. All right, so that's installed. Okay, so our next step is to get our loaded pickguard installed, all of our ground holes drilled, and then get it mounted, and then all of our electronics are done. So we're going to get our loaded pickguard fitted in. Now this part can be a little tricky, getting this put in correctly, because getting all these wires to sit where they're supposed to sit can be difficult at best, because a lot of them can obstruct the way that the pickguard is installed. Now, I always like to put the front pickup in first, okay, and then work my way back. All right, so this part I'm going to have to get under here and just start wiggling wires around to get everything to sit down flat. All right, so I'm not going to make you sit through that, but it will sit down flat in there just right. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll drill our guide holes. Okay guys, so just like that, our ground wire is connected and our jack is connected, and we've got our loaded pickguard installed and ready to go. Now wait a minute. I know what you guys are thinking. That is not the pickguard that we were installing. Well, I can't put anything over on you guys. You're absolutely right. That is not the pickguard that we were installing. This is the loaded pickguard that we were going to install. However, it did not fit on this body. So I went ahead and I ordered another pickguard that from the same company that makes the XGP body, which is Guitar Fetish. So I ordered another pickguard, and I ordered this one because I really liked the tortoiseshell look. So the next stage is going to be to install the neck. So we're just going to flip the guitar with the neck, get some of this stuff out of the way here so we have some clean space. We're going to flip this over. Okay, we're going to take our neck, fit it into the pocket. Okay, just like so. We're going to hold this firm right here. Okay, and we're going to take our fender plate, our little F plate right here, like that. And we're going to start aligning our screws. Make sure that's in the right position. Right, almost there. We go. All right, our neck is installed. Check it out. Bingo. This is actually starting to look like a guitar. All right, well, the only thing we really have left to do is put strings on it. So let's go ahead and put strings on it. And we'll get it tuned up and ready to go. All right, guys, so we did forget to do one thing. We forgot to install our strap buttons. You got to have these or you can't put a strap on the guitar. The procedure is very simple. All we have to do is drill a hole in the center right here, okay? And then drill another small guide hole in the center right here. And then that's it. Then just screw in your strap buttons. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll get strings on it and get to playing. All right, guys, it is off the workbench, all stringed up, ready to go. And man, it is beautiful. Check it out. She's all done. Now, I'm calling this the Jimmy strap. Of course, in memory of my little brother who passed away, who left me this gorgeous neck from his Powerhouse Strat. And I just wanted to dedicate this guitar to him. He was a real quiet kind of guy until you got to know him. But then his personality came to life once you did get to know him, and it was sparkly. It'd be the best way to describe it. He had one of the best sense of humors I've ever known in anybody. So let's go over some of the features and specs of this gorgeous guitar. First, we have an XGP Guitar Body. Check it out, XGP Red Sparkle Guitar Body. That thing is beautiful. This is from Guitar Fetish. Okay. All the links are in the description below to everything that I purchased for this guitar. We have a hip shot style hardtail bridge. See it right there? Hip shot style hardtail bridge. Okay. This is the original Fender Powerhouse Strat neck. Okay, beautiful neck. So the electronics and pickups are coming from Guitar Fetish as well. And this is the Kwikplug system. Okay, these are GFS Neodymium single coil pickups. Neodymium single coil pickups. And this is the Mega Texas set. Okay, and they are Kwikplug ready, as well as the wiring harness is the GFS Kwikplug vintage style wiring harness, also Kwikplug ready, which means that there was no soldering at all in this guitar. Okay, the pickups plugged basically right into the wiring harness, and then the wiring harness you just loaded it up. Even the jack, okay, even the input jack plugged into the wiring harness. So it was super simple, and then just a crimp connection for your ground wire underneath your bridge. So man, talk about easy. Guitar Fetish has really made wiring guitars super simple and super cheap. I got this set of pickups for under $100 for all three, and the wiring harness was only like $25. So you can't really beat it. The amount of money that you can put a guitar together for is just ridiculous these days. It's got the fender plate on the back. Okay, it has a bone nut, and I also have installed Guyker vintage locking tuners with the cream knobs, because I felt it would go, I felt it would go best with the cream plastics that we have in here. And just absolutely phenomenal tuners for what they cost. They're $25. And man, I got to tell you, they hold tune so well. Hey, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you like videos like this. I want to continue to do this, so that helps me out a lot. And we're going to leave you with some gorgeous beauty shots and some tones from this guitar. So until we meet again, we'll see you next time on Guitar Yourself. Take care.